wrong. You know why I think we have such a hard time with this whole concept is because we were the N word. We were colored. We were Negro. We were now we were black, and now we're African American.
Yeah.
And I think black people, we get our names changed so much that we are sometimes confused of what we're supposed to be called. You know what I mean?
Because you know what, like when white people describe black people, they usually say African American, politically correct.
Because they feel like if they say anything else,
like
racist.
Black is not right. You're not actually black because your skin is not
right. Okay,
the color.
You're not actually white either. This girl said to me, she's a Dominican girl in New York that I was bringing. We worked together at Macy's, and she's like, she thought I was Dominican, like her.
Yeah.
And she said, "Are you Dominican?" I was like, "No." I said, "No, I'm just black." She said, "No, I'm saying, but I am too." You know, most Dominicans don't claim black; they claim Spanish, but she did. And she said, "No, me too." But like we said, "No, I'm not Spanish." Like that, she said, "No, my mother is biracial, my father is black." And she said, "Oh, you Obama kids." And I didn't know what she was saying because her accent was so heavy. She said, "No, you Obama kids." And I was like, "What?"
I'm not Obama's kid.
She's like, "I'm not Obama." I said, "I'm not Obama's not my dad."
Yeah.
She was like, "No, you Obama kids." And I was like,
it dawned on you.
I said, "Oh, Obama's kids."
He's mixed.
Yes, I am like Obama's
Michelle's
kids.
black.
Yeah.
So, hi guys, we're back again. We had another question and we wanted to do that, so we just added on again. Yeah, so we gotta ask if we believe in, or do we agree with being called African American or black? I like being called American, but okay.
Yeah.
So I've never been comfortable with African American.
Well, I'm not African.
Black
I've never
is
been
fine.
to Africa. And also, I have European. My grandmother's white, so.
Our grandmother is German and Irish.
Right.
Or was. She's German and Irish. So she's
she's
really
people?
White.
But am I supposed to just forget those people?
I know. So I've never identified with, no. The answer is I like to be called, if it identify me as a race, I'm black. And whenever someone says African American, I remember I remember I first got called that when I was a teenager. I was like, really? Like that's.
Also, there
are
black Mexicans. There are
right.
They don't ever get seen though. The black Mexicans. There are what is it? There's I think it was in Ireland. Black Irish people that get hidden because they think that Irish. There are black people there already. So I don't know. I mean, for me, I'm black.
Yeah, and
I'm a black American.
But like you said, I've never been to Africa. You know, when you go Africans, I don't want to say all, but there's a lot of Africans I personally know that just never got the whole African American thing. Like, why you call yourself African American? You know, and I kind of get what they're saying.
I was watching this show called What's My Line, and the host of that, John Daly, is South African, and he's white. White as can be. Yeah. So is he African?
They always have a blonde hair and blue eyes.
And he's got, I think he's got darker hair, but I'm just saying, is he black?
Remember
Charlize Theron's from South Africa?
She was on a talk show many years ago, and she's like, so she's a citizen of America now, you know, when she moved here. And she said, well, I guess and then the host said.
No, it was Eddie Griffin. They were on Saturday Night Live.
And he said, I guess you're African American now.
Eddie Griffin said it. He said it to her. He said, so you're from South Africa? She's like, yeah. She's like, he said, so you're African American? Yeah. And she said, I guess I am African American. See, these things, this thing gets really, weird. I think what's wrong, you know why I think we have such a hard time with this whole concept is because we were the N word. We were colored. We were Negro. We were we were black, and now we're African American. Yeah. And I think black people, we get our names changed so much that we are sometimes confused of what we're supposed to be called. You know what I mean?
Because you know what, like when white people describe black people, they usually say African American, politically correct.
Because they feel like if they say anything else,
like
racist.
Black is not right. You're not actually black because your skin is not the color.
You're not actually white either.
Right. No. So it's kind of like I know, like in the corporate world, it's like that's what it is, right? In the corporate world, they would say African American because that's politically correct. You can get sued. I'm sure in the corporate world that you can get sued if you call someone black.
Just write other. Well, then this one guy was like, well, Italian Americans call themselves Italian Americans. So, well, most of them are immigrants.
Yes.
Italy. So they actually have been to Italy.
Every single Italian person that I know is, yes.
And most of my friends that are immigrants, they were like first generations here. So they've all been to their countries.
I've never
been to Africa. They all speak their language. I don't speak any. And also in Africa, there's so many different languages. They don't all speak the same language.
Right.
And they will call themselves Senegalese, or they'll call themselves Sudanese, or you know what I mean. So they don't all look at themselves the same either. You know what I mean? You know, it's just like they're on that continent, but they are different. You know, in that. You know, African American to me is sometimes I feel like it's rude.
Why do you think it's rude?
I don't know. I just think that if you don't. It's to me, it's appropriation in a small way, because you don't know that culture. Yeah, this is American culture. We are not African culture. Now you could say a lot of things. We were stripped from our things, but the truth is at this point, most black people in America aren't even fully black anyway.
We've been diluted. Some of these darker skinned black people have a lot. They're finding through when you do the ethnic testing, that they're finding out that they got more European in them, even though they've got darker skin than me. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so that's the thing. It's like a lot of us are finding out now. If you think that you got to call yourself African American or because of the one drop rule, well, that's white people. So you can't call yourself being black and forward if you're talking about the one drop rule in the paper test. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're still doing that is white. That is racist white ideology. Yeah. So the thing is like, I know that my grandmother. My grandmother was Irish. Her mother was Irish, and her father was German. You know, and my grandfather is from the South. He's black. You know, my father's side of the family are black people. Right. Our father. I keep saying that like we don't have the same parents. I hate when I do that. Well, but we have the same parents. So both of our father's side of the family is African American. You know, or Black American. Yeah. But look, this is how I feel. I call myself black because I'm not white. You look at me and I'm walking around calling myself... I would say that most black people do that. If I'm walking around calling myself white, I mean, I have light skin, really light skin. But if I walk around calling myself white, and people look at me like, even white people, even black people, everybody... So that's why I call myself, because, you know, and I don't even call myself that all the time. No one asks me. Yeah. No one's walking up to me all the time saying, you know, sometimes people go, you know, what race are you? They'll say something like that, and I'll just say, no, I'm just black. An American, just regular black. Oh, you're not from? No, you're you're looking at the hair. That's that's a dilution of my mother's mix. But you know, look, there are a lot of biracial people who have, like Lenny Kravitz. He's a biracial person, and his hair is afro. But he would look stupid walking around calling himself white, so he just call himself black. You know, just say we're Rachel Dolezal. She might have. We just talk about her. If she looks at her, she might have like some sort of. She might. I mean, she doesn't really identify. She might. If she does that thing, she finds some black in her. She's gonna be happy. She'll be so happy to hear that. But you know, it's like no, I like to stick. I like to stick to what I know. Now, I love doing African history. I do think there's maybe something in us that maybe we do inherit. Just there would have to be something. But I'm just saying, even with a German Irish, I mean, I'd have to inherit something from there too. Yeah. You know you have to claim all of it, right? To claim it all. Yeah. But most people are only going to complain from what they can see. Yeah. And so, you walk around and you could be biracial and be really, really light skinned. And they do people who used to pass. Yeah. Like my mother is really, really. Our mom, again, I said it again. We have the same parents. Yeah, okay. Our mother is my mother is one of our mother is one of those biracial people that are really that you wouldn't think you might think she's white. My mother, our mom is like my mother's really most of the time people think she's white. She's got what you call pale skin, but what do you call it? Porcelain like skin. She burns. She won't get like her tan. She doesn't do tans well. She will burn. Yeah. Literally. And then she's got really dark hair. Naturally really dark hair. You know what I mean? And so she can't sit out there and get suntan. Her melanin's not there. Yeah. But she doesn't walk around calling herself white because she identifies with, first of all, because she's not all the way white. She's half. I mean, she's good. She's half and half, but but on the spectrum, she almost just looks white. I mean, if she said she was, I don't think many people would argue with it. They would probably think she has Greek in her. If they thought anything, they would think she must be white and Greek. I remember watching something like that. Remember watching Queen and Halle Berry and the other lady they were passing for white. I'm thinking my mother could pass. Like they put so much powder on Halle Berry's face. First of all, Halle Berry is not that light skinned. You know what I mean? She's not. She's kind of caramel. She may be a little darker than me. She's caramel, right? Yeah. Yes. She may be a little darker than me. But when you watch that movie, and I remember Queen is a good movie. By the way, don't get me. It's another Alex. It's the continuation of Roots. So it's her father's side of the family. It's Alex Haley's father's side of the family. But when you watch that movie now,
And I look at it like, why did they put so much white powder on that girl's face?
Even the woman,
she looks like a ghost.
But even the woman that was like mentoring her or whatever.
They
were like trying to pass. They were passing as white because I guess
she actually does look more white than Halle Berry though.
I feel like that white people, if they watch that show, I feel like if they had watched that, they would be like, she doesn't look.
But you know what they were saying? If you watch the movie, what they were saying, this is what I was saying about my mother. That if anybody thought my mother was something other, no one would automatically think my mom was black.
You wouldn't.
Or our mother was black. They would never think that. It's like, my grandfather's from the South, my mom's father. And our last name is Napier. Yeah. And that's French. So he's come from the Creole area.
I know. I remember when it's kind of that.
So my grandfather's dark skinned. He's a musician, but he's from the South, and that sounds Creole. Yeah. I mean, I think I understand like one of my favorite decades, is, you guys know, is the 70s, and I can definitely see in the 60s and 70s where maybe you want to bring up the African factor, like Muhammad Ali did. Because there was so many civil rights problems that I think there was a part of us that wanted to feel like connected to whatever roots was important at that time, because so many black people that were in America were so conformed to white. Yeah,
and then also we always talk about how people nowadays are not oppressed because you're not. Yeah. They were then, because a lot of stuff was built into law. So that's why I think oppression is. But it was
saying that.
Yeah. So because they were being oppressed in the 70s and the earlier times, they really did have to kind of put it in the face of white America, America in general, that we're here. This is what we look like. And so they did all that on purpose. It was, wearing the fros and just being black. You know what I mean? They put that up there because that made sense to do that. I understood that.
Kathleen Cleaver and the Black Panther. You needed that. She was light.
Yeah, she was light. But see, everyone accepted her.
Her husband, Eldridge, was dark. But she was light, hazel eyes, sandy brown hair. And yet she was walking around talking about, can you dig it? I'm wearing my natural. You know what I mean? But see, that's what I'm saying. The wearing your natural hair and hyping up your blackness in a time where it was really made to feel ugly.
But when
then now I see the point in that.
When did people start? But when did people start switching over to saying African American? Like, when did we come from black to African American? Wait, let me see again.
I would think it's the 70s.
It feels like it, right?
Because I remember on the Jeffersons, they had a conversation about that. Yeah. So like probably late 60s.
If someone calls me African American, I don't get offended. Don't get me wrong. It's not.
I ain't no African.
It's
I don't go around saying that.
It's not that deep where I'm gonna lose my mind because someone called me African American. I just prefer black. But can you imagine if I got mad? Like, people do get mad. If you don't call them African American, people get mad when you call them black. There's some black people who really truly get offended when you call them black. I'm like, what?
But even in a lot of Malcolm X speeches, his speeches are wonderful. Yeah, you know what I mean. But a lot of his speeches, not just in colleges, but just to black people in their neighborhoods and things like that, were mostly like when he talked about when he talks about women and their responsibilities, and he talks about getting all that perm out of your hair, and a lot of that was the Panthers did that, and a lot of that was important because we had such bad self-esteem from being Jim Crowed so long, and telling us we can't have nappy hair going to work. Yeah. So those speeches for black people and connecting you to the African continent and those speeches were important for the time. And I still think we should always talk. There should always still be African history and things like that. But it was more for us to have more pride in ourselves.
Yeah, because it's so long of conforming to what the white America was wanting, that it made sense to me why they want to put it in their face and say, no, this is who we are. We're brainwashed in a way. Yeah. To conform to the white way, the European way. So.
And that's true.
That was true. Yeah. So it at that time, like, it made sense to be that drastic. I understood. I think I understand then why that was a thing, but I don't see why people get offended by it now. Yeah. I mean, I think in a corporate world that they had also, like, in a corporate America, they had to find a term that was not going to be offensive. They found a good compromise. Like, we should just do this. Don't call them anything else. Call them African American.
Yeah, I mean, most black people now in corporate America, they wear dreadlocks. dreadlocks.
Yeah, it's getting.
You know what I mean? Because it used to be if you were in corporate America and you wore afro.
Yeah, we're not pressed.
Companies that you had to deal with and stuff considered that militant, and they thought they were gonna have to deal with you.
Yeah.
On a militant way. But now it's kind of like, you know, this is just
it's a style.
It's just like our hair is not straight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
My mind's is
so
right
you
now.
know it's like, but I mean even like remember that time Danielle and I once did. We straightened our hair once, and we always wear our hair mostly natural with curls. And you know, this is just one of those things where they say that black people are kind of brainwashed because remember when we used to take a like a pictures when we used to do Facebook. We used to take a picture of ourselves, and we wouldn't get very many likes.
Yeah.
But one day we took a picture of ourselves with straight hair, and I was like, where all these people come from? You know what I mean? It was just like, it's because black men like straight hair.
Yeah,
and this is why so many of these women walk around here with lace fronts and stuff. Is because even though they always get told, how come you don't wear your natural hair? It's because they know they get more feedback when their hair looks more European. Because black men are kind of are also indoctrinated into that look. So, you know what I mean? Yeah. It doesn't mean that black men don't like natural hair. And I will say this, going natural did help me because I didn't realize being around a biracial mother and a white grandmother, how much that affected me until I had to cut all my perm out and just be whatever. I didn't even know what my natural hair was.
Yeah, most black people, sure what our most black women have had their hair relaxed since they were little. You know, preteen, a lot preteen. I think we were like 12 or something, I don't know. But like preteen. So a lot of us didn't even know what our hair was like. That's why they call it a natural hair journey. So someone asked us this before, why do they call it a journey? It's just hair. I'm like, I know to you it's just hair, but for black women, like it's a journey because we broke off of what our natural look was to conform and to fit in to what society was saying, right? So, like, I have my hair straight now, so wearing it like this would be the European way, right? And so, when I was younger, I was only comfortable with this. Yeah. Like, I would not feel comfortable with, So, but when you decide to go natural, it is a journey. Now you're thinking outside of hair now. Because now you're emotional about this. So, you see women who do, like, the big chops and stuff, it's an emotional thing because you're now having to reveal who you are in a sense, who you are, and your hair is especially for women is like their what Maya Angelou said, like the crown.
Woman's crown, it's woman's glory.
It's like the woman's glory in a way, in all cultures.
Even
really.
White women. So,
yeah. So when I had to transition, when I transitioned over back to my natural hair. I would call it a journey. I never got why we call it that until I did it, and I was like, wow, I'm not even connected to my hair. And now I'm not connected to when I wear it straight. Yeah, like
now
this,
when I straighten my hair out, I'm not connected to it.
Like when I wear my hair straight, like I'm wearing it straight now. When I wear it straight, I'm not connected to it. I'm happy about that because I prefer my curls. I wear my hair curly 99% of the time. Yeah. This is like once or twice a year. That's about it. So I feel like that,
And I also like to meet men this way because I don't want men to think that this is every day.
Your natural hair.
When I wear my hair straight, it's not all the time. It's every once in a while. And I don't want you to think that this is how I'm going to look. Yeah. Because again, black men are also indoctrinated into of what beauty of a woman is. Yeah. And like even Lena Horne said that when she first became famous, she was light skinned and she had straighter hair, and she said a lot of black people accused her of being, even though she was like iconic, they accused her of trying to look Spanish.
Yeah, well.
You know what I mean? And but she said she felt that the white executives that worked in Paramount and all those places were trying to make her look that way as well. Right. And so she kind of just left Hollywood after that. But, the thing is, even Malcolm X is like us. His mother is biracial and his father was
he is
dark skin. So I just feel black.
I just feel black.
That's how I identify as.
What do you identify as?
There are a lot of people who get mad at this, a lot of black people that they really hate America, and they feel like because of the past of being enslaved and being brought over here, we need to just denounce all America strategies and stuff like that. And so they want to claim black, and so they're going to claim African American. And I on some level I understand that, but I don't know. I feel like unless it is your culture, you were born there, it is in your food, it's in the way you walk. I don't want to claim it if it's not in it. And I don't claim that. So I don't. The
African part of me, I understand where it came from. Like I understand that.
And black people in America are uniquely different than other races of people because if you're from India, but you are like a second generation in this country, and you've never even if you've never been to India, you're still connected to it because Indian people don't date other people. They really only, and they speak their language. And so even those kids that are born here that never been to India, they speak their language. They know the language. Their parents make sure they know it. They know their religion. They know all the parts. So they can go eat McDonald's and hang out, you know, at
But that was stripped of us very early. So
because African Americans were brought over here against
and then diluted down to the American way.
So we were stripped of not only our religion but our language. And you know, there were different Africans that were all entangled. So even when we procreated, we didn't really know. We're from the same tribe or the same. You know what I mean? We were all different. So I don't know. I'm not African American in mind. If you ask me, I would say no. I'm black.
I'm black. Let us know what you think. As always, leave a comment below, and everybody have a good day. Bye.